was a string of seasons in the early 70s when nobody could stop the Miami Dolphins. And some said it was because nobody could stop their thundering fullback, number 39, Larry Zonka. Ducked down, ball tucked away. Zonka got the tough inside yards, the tough straightaway yards, the final game-breaking yards. He was relentless, a driving force that never stopped. In college, he broke all the fabled rushing records at Syracuse with his uncomplicated punishing style. He was the Dolphins' #1 pick in the '68 draft and changed ball control from a passive strategy to an active weapon. When a team played the Miami Dolphins, their goal was first and always to stop Larry Zonka. And that's the only thing that ever did stop him, their goal.
Autumn in New York. It's a classic fall day. 70 degrees, bright sunshine, no wind, perfect conditions, and a sellout crowd at Shea Stadium to see the Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets. Today's game is brought to you by Dodge Cars and Ram Tough Dodge Trucks. Dodge, America's revolution. By the Ask For Motor Oil, Pennzoil, protection worth asking for. And by Adolph Coors Company, Golden, Colorado. The best of the Rockies is yours. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Shea Stadium in New York. When these two teams met last in January for the AFC Championship on a money field in the Orange Bowl, it was Miami prevailing 14-0, earning the trip to the Super Bowl. The Jets have waited a long time to get their revenge. With me, Merlin Olsen, a man who made his name as a defensive player. Normally, Merlin, we talk about the offense. How do you beat the defense? Let's go to the other side of the line of scrimmage. How will the Miami Dolphins try to defense the Jets today?
Dick, I talked to Bill Arnsberger yesterday and again today about the game. And, of course, he'll approach it by trying to limit the options of the offense, take away the running game, and then pressure the quarterback. Now, that's going to be easier today because if Crutchfield is hurt, they're not going to be able to attack as well as they did in the past. And certainly, Arnsberger working with some injured troops in linebacking positions especially. But once beyond that, he's got to try and take away the home run hitter. Number 85, Wesley Walker, perhaps the most dangerous player on the field offensively. And they've got to get him stopped for the New York Jets. They'll do it by putting two players on him almost all day long.
They'll have to stop number 42, also in the green and white.
Well, I tell you, Miami's got a lot of respect for Bruce Harper. Not only his ability to catch the ball, but he averages 8.5 per rush. He's especially dangerous on third down.
Well, the Jets' defensive philosophy will be much the same then in trying to stop Miami.
Bill Gardy, again, would like to control Andre Franklin, the big running fullback. At the same time, he's got a little more difficult job. Miami's got a lot of different people at work, but Mark Duper particularly. Duper last week in his first start, 202 yards and 2 touchdowns. They're going to have to watch his speed today.
And Miami has a back that can do a lot of good things.
Dick, they certainly do. That's Tony Nathan. Tony Nathan, number 22. And Nathan obviously has not had the year that Shula would like him to have, but he is explosive. Top receiver and number 2 rusher for Miami.
So the keys today in reviewing the defenses for Miami to win, they must take away Walker's speed, the versatility of Harper, and on the other side, it's the challenge of the Jets to take away Duper's long ball threat and the versatility of Nathan.
And it'll be the Jets. As Don Shula sees Miami place kicker, Uwe von Chaman, ball teed up. Jets have Kirk Springs deep along with Preston Brown. Joe Walton. He and Shula at one time were teammates in the late 50s, the Washington Redskins. Von Chaman ready to kick it off. The wind normally a factor here. The flag on this beautiful fall day hanging limply on the staff off to our left. Ready to go. The loser knows a defeat today will drop them 2 games out of first place. A good kick. Oh, Brown's going to take it out. He's got some running room. And he dropped at the 30-yard line. Tackle made by Robert Sowell, a rookie defensive back. The lineup for the New York Jets with Richard Todd at quarterback. Durking and Crutchfield. We'll see Crutchfield on a limited basis today because of the hamstring injury. Wide receivers, Wesley Walker, 5 touchdown catches. The move man Gaffney. Tight end Barkham. If they go to 2 tight end offense, Mickey Schuler. The offensive line for the New York Jets, the big bookend tackles, Ward and Powell. All-Pro Joe Fields at center, Pellegrini and Alexander the guards. First down from the 30. Oh, deflected by Doug Betters, number 75, the defensive end of the Dolphins. Betters very nearly had a touchdown. And let's check that defensive line. Betters, he has 8 sacks to lead Miami. Beaucamper, the other defensive end, with All-Pro Bob Baumhauer, the nose tackle. Linebackers, Brodzinski, tough against the run. Bowser, good blitzing. Dewey, he had 3 interceptions against the Jets in the playoff. And the rookie Thomas, Rodell Thomas, for Ernest Roan. He's home with pneumonia. Judson and Small, the cornerback. The Blackwood boys from Texas are at safety. Second and 10. Jets ball, 30-yard line. Bruce Harper. Harper for 4 yards, bringing up third down and 6.
And Dick, with Crutchfield hurt, they're going to have to use Harper a great deal more than they would like to. He is not a big back, and he has his best games when you can spot him in and out of the backfield using his great speed on the third down situation. But again, with Crutchfield hurting and on the sideline, they're going to have to go more and more to Bruce Harper.
Crutchfield with 335 yards rushing and a 4.5 average. Powerful 230-pounder. But they'll have to go with the smaller backs today. Third and 6. Almost intercepted by Blackwood, or did he get it? No. The signal finally that number 47, Glenn Blackwood, unable to make that diving interception on the tip ball, and Chuck Ramsey comes in to punt for the Jets.
Richard Todd under a great deal of pressure on that throw, just barely able to get the ball away, tipped up by Gerald Small, and Glenn Blackwood dove for that football, almost got it. Now watch the kind of pressure coming from behind. Todd is going to drift to his left. Tim Beaucamper, 58, will hit him right here as he starts to throw. Knock that pass offline. That really caused the problem.
Ramsey's kick is a beautiful spiral. Mark Clayton at the 19. And he's down at the 24-yard line. Again, the Jets, that's been one of their strengths this young season, coverage of the punt. Short return, 4 yards on a 48-yard Ramsey kick. For the Miami Dolphins, their offense on the field for the first time. Number 13, the rookie from Pittsburgh, Dan Marino, the new starting quarterback. He has with him the versatile Nathan and the powerful Franklin as running backs. Wide receiver Duper and the veteran Nat Moore, the all-time Miami receiver. Dan Johnson at the tight end. We'll check the offensive line after the first play. Inside the give to Andre Franklin for 2 or 3 yards. Running behind this offensive line, Giesler and Kuchenberg, the tackle and guard on the left side. Dwight Stevenson, Pro Bowl material at center. Powerful Ed Newman and Eric Loxo are the tackles. The tackle on the right side. Defensively, Gastineau and Klecko on the left side. Lyons and Neal on the right side of the Jets' defensive line. We'll check the linebackers and deep backs after this play. It's second down and 8. Franklin again, nothing there. Running right at Gastineau and Klecko, a yard at best. The secondary linebackers and deep backs for the Jets. Greg Buttle, Bob Crable starting in that middle linebacker position. A key move for the Jets today. Lance Mell leading tackler on the right side. Jackson and Holmes at the corners, and Troy and Ray the safeties for New York. Third down and 7. Out of the shotgun, Marino finds his man close to a first down. Boy, you can see the arm strength of Marino as he drilled it to Nat Moore, the veteran wide receiver.
One of the reasons that Don Shula has been so excited about this young man is that he does have that quick rifle release. And of course, in making the decision to put Woodley on the sideline, get Marino in, he had given David Woodley a long time to prove himself during the season. Woodley had a great preseason, but had stumbled through the early part of the season. Dan Marino caught the offense on fire last week, got them firing, got 35 points on the board. That's the good news. Bad news, the defense gave up 38.
Marino, a first-round pick, but the 6th quarterback selected in the draft. And Don Shula won't say that it was a steal to find him still there, but
he feels very good about the fact the availability of Marino, and they quickly grabbed him. It's a first down, as you saw, at the 34-yard line.
Dick, the Dolphins will try to probe right up the middle of that Jet defensive line, and if they can hammer up the middle, they can force the Jets to do some things they don't want to do. So far, they're not getting much.
Wide open is Ned Moore, and he's on the ball to the 20, the 10, touchdown, Miami. 66 yards, Marino to Moore.
Quieting down in a hurry as the veteran Nat Moore able to find a little opening, and Marino just rifling that ball to him. Moore is just going to sneak in behind Bobby Jackson. Safety's coming over, but he just flat out runs Kenny Stroy right there, and it's Bobby Jackson coming from behind number 40 and gathering ground on him, but unable to catch him before he walks into the end zone.
So Uwe von Schamann will try the extra point. A 66-yard touchdown, the longest pass play of the season for Miami. And the Dolphins strike quickly. It took them less than 3 minutes to get the lead as Nat Moore finding a crease in the defense, and a perfect throw by Marino.
Marino's 7th touchdown of the year, and boy, he just zips that ball into the gap. A good job of picking the open man and getting the ball to him.
Troy couldn't make the tackle. Jackson couldn't catch his man.
Defense does it again. They tormented Cincinnati last week. Here on the first series, Mike Merriweather does it to Cleveland. It led to a field goal, so it's 3-0 Pittsburgh early. Back to Dick and Merlin at Shea.
Marino of Miami, a budding star for the Dolphins. 66-yard touchdown to Moore. Now the kickoff again to Brown, short at the 10. But good coverage, and down at the 17-yard line is Vince Heflin, number 88, made the tackle for Miami. He's a wide receiver.
In the game last week against Buffalo, Miami was hurt by kickoff returns. Had to put their defense on the field out toward midfield on several occasions. One of the things they've worked very hard during the week on.
Oh, what a day in New York, Merlin. I think that you even got itchy when you came out to Shea Stadium today.
I went down, got taped up. I got ready to go.
18-yard line. The Jets trailing 7-0. Mike Augustiniak, number 35, from Purdue University. He and Scott Durking, two ex-Boilermakers, built so much alike. Short, squatty, strong.
Climb on the inside to watch Joe Fields right in the middle of your screen. Fine all-pro center. He'll be doing the blocking here. Nose tackle Bob Baumhauer driving him off to the side, getting a good piece of Bocamper in the process, able to get a few yards up the middle.
Second down, a long 4. And again, it's Augustiniak plowing for what appears to be a first down. Is a walk-on at Purdue, was not drafted as a pro, Mike Augustiniak.
Back in the middle of that offensive line, we're focusing on the battle again between Fields and Baumhauer in the middle of your screen. And boy, they are going tooth and nail in the middle of that line. A standoff, but you notice how Fields kept his feet moving on that play and eventually got the better of the battle.
Joe Fields from Widener College, a 14th round draft pick. Jets have their initial first down and the ball at the 30, checked at the 28-yard line. Wide open, Augustiniak. And he's across the 35-yard line, a gain of about 8. Now San Diego has scored in the first quarter at New England. James Brooks on a 1-yard run. The Chargers lead the Patriots 7-0.
Now, Dick, we watched Joe Fields working on the blocking situation on the run. Let's watch him now in the middle of your screen working on Baumhauer on a passing situation. He gives away a lot of size and strength to Baumhauer, but takes good body position and able to help protect his quarterback well on that play.
Second and 2. Going long. Lamb Jones sprinting down that right side, and he had beaten his man, William Judson. The pass just a little too long.
Now, that's one of the things that Jets really kind of kicked themselves for not doing last week against the Cleveland Browns. They only got deep twice to Walker, really didn't open that Browns defense up. Todd aiming deep for Lamb Jones, trying to use his speed on that play, and even though he didn't complete it, forces Miami to respect the deep threat.
Lamb Jones would have to rate as a disappointment with the New York Jets. Lamb now in his 4th year with New York. He's caught some big passes, but he's not been as consistent as they had hoped. 3rd and short. There's the short yardage. Crutchfield. Bad leg and all. First down at the 45-yard line. Richard Todd now 2 for 5. Crutchfield's first catch, and he stays in the game.
After Joe Walton lost Freeman McNeil, he began to use Crutchfield a great deal more, and Crutchfield has proved to be a good receiver as well as a runner. Amazingly quick and agile for a big man. Huge, powerful legs. I'm really sorry that he's hurt today. I was anxious to see how he would do against this Miami defense.
He is the lone back behind Todd. First down at the Jets 45. Miami leading 7-0. 9 minutes left, first quarter. Crutchfield. Here, midfield before Rodell Thomas, 54, can lead a defensive charge for Miami. Thomas playing for Ernest Roan, who did not make the trip.
Rick, I'm sure there are fans at home saying, well, if he's hurt, why is he playing? Players still have to go when they're injured. And Crutchfield had strained that hamstring on Wednesday, as we'd indicated. I talked to him about it yesterday. He said, I'll still be able to play. He said, I've played with worse injuries, but it will limit my effectiveness.
2nd and 5. The Jets are in Miami territory near the 46-yard line. Rodell Thomas put a pretty good lick on Big Crutchfield. Thomas from Alabama State.
Crutchfield, top of your screen now, takes the ball, goes right at Bocamper, number 58, gets inside, and that is a good hit by the young rookie right there. I'm sure he felt it as well as Crutchfield did. That's a lot of meat out there on the field.
Crutchfield goes out, so Augustiniak comes in, and that's Scott Durkin diving for a first down across the 45 of Miami. A couple other scores. San Francisco takes the early lead at New Orleans 3-0 on a Ray Wersching field goal. Benny Ricardo has hit a field goal for Minnesota. They lead Houston 3-0.
We're reminded that Rodell Thomas is not a rookie. Has been around for a while, has not had a great deal of playing time, and really until you've been tested out there on the field, you're still a rookie there.
Well, you remember he came in as a tight end, was a rookie tight end in '81, and then they transferred him to defense. Todd, he wants to go long. Wide open is Harper. And he's down to the Miami 28-yard line. Bruce Harper, 17 yards.
That's the kind of explosiveness that we had anticipated from Bruce Harper. He does a great job of finding the opening in the defense. Look at him here. Look how open he is in this particular situation. Well-designed play.
And Merlin, to back up your point earlier on the long pass to Jones, you saw Jones running a streak, and that cleared out all that room for Harper. So that even though the pass to Jones didn't work earlier, it set up that play. Down at the 19. Bob Brzezinski makes sure he doesn't go farther, but it's a 9-yard scramble for Todd.
Joe Walton extremely pleased with the way Todd had played last week, in spite of the fact that his team lost in a 10-7 encounter with the Cleveland Browns. Todd, I don't think, has been that happy with his performance this year. Has thrown more interceptions than he would like to throw. And, of course, last year, with the interceptions, it really killed him in that big championship game.
That game is less than 5 minutes old, and the Steelers already lead 10-0. Cleveland has never won. The Browns have never won at Three Rivers, and they fall behind 10-0 early today. Well, Todd has to call time. So Richard will go over and talk things over with head coach Joe Walton. The Miami Dolphins lead 7-0, 5:45 remaining first quarter. plays have marched it down to the 19-yard line of Miami, where it is 2nd and 2. Bruce Harper doesn't drop many of those. So outstanding on that particular pattern. The little guy from Kutztown State, Walt Michaels' son, Walt Michaels Jr. Well, Michaels was the head coach of the Jets. His son was a teammate of Harper and recommended that the Jets take a look at him, and what a find. He proved to be a outstanding scout. Harper has paid many a dividend.
They certainly have never regretted that choice, and had he caught that football, would have had an easy first down. Now they need to pick up the first to keep this drive alive.
Down near the 15. Glenn Blackwood was there to make sure that he didn't skip down the sideline. Jets trying to tie Miami here at Shea. Let's go to NFL 83.
All right, Dick, what a jinx in Pittsburgh. Now, Sipe already intercepted twice by Pittsburgh. Now Mike Merriweather picks it off and scores it. So again this week, the Pittsburgh defense is their offense. And it's 17-0. Back to you, Dick.
Boy, that's like taking a knockout punch before you leave the dressing room. 17-0 Pittsburgh, and they're not even halfway through the first quarter at Three Rivers. Crutchfield to the 10-yard line, and it takes 3 Dolphins to drag him down.
Dick, that's the kind of lateral movement that I mentioned from Crutchfield, a 230-pound back, and he gives you those little sliding moves that are common to much smaller backs. Watch him as he approaches the line. Look at the slide. A little dip right there. Now he'll slide out. Look how he got himself and kept those shoulders square to the line. Well, that's a fine piece of running. Good running by Dwayne Crutchfield.
Here it is again. Have to meet that 235-pounder head on. 2nd and 5. Walker, and dangerously tipped back into a crowd of Dolphins, but incomplete.
Todd shaking his head, and one of the problems that the Jets have had offensively is that Wesley Walker has had an Achilles problem. He's been limited in practice time and literally has only been able to practice 1 day a week. When you can only throw to your number 1 receiver 1 day a week, you are bound to have some problems in timing. I think it has hurt the Jets this year, and had he been able to practice more, I think Wesley probably would have more than 5 touchdowns on the season.
Some confusion in the defense for Miami. A.J. Dewey is injured. He's on the sidelines. Miami, I think they only had 10 men on the field. Bruce Harper down to the 2-yard line. That'll be 1st and goal for the Jets.
I believe they had enough people on the field. Shula was over asking Arnsparger what in the world is going on here. Chance for you to see it at home now. Good shot of Todd, just slipping a little pass outside. Looked like a play similar to the one we'd seen earlier. Alexander, number 60, gets a fine block. But look at Todd look at Harper twisting inside of 2 of those Miami Dolphin defenders to get the extra yardage.
But the confusion continues, Merlin, on the Miami defensive sidelines. The Dolphins had to call time, did not have the right people in there, partially because of all the injuries to the linebackers, and now another. A.J. Dewey has been shaken up and is not in the game at the moment. Timeout, 4:15 remaining, first quarter. 2 stars for Miami on the sidelines. It's 1st and goal. The Jets' 16th play of this drive, looking for the tying score. They got it! Mike Augustiniak.
The Jets marched the ball down the field very effectively last week. Got inside the 20 4 times and only managed 1 score. Well, they started it right today. Straight down the field, and it's Augustiniak at the end of this short pass. The Jets electing to throw in what appeared to be a running situation. Augustiniak reversed.
Pat Leahy adds the extra point. And just as these 2 teams are tied on the season, 3-3, and just as they are 17-1 in their rivalry, they're even in the first quarter today. Todd to Augustiniak. He had some key yardage early in that long 16-play drive, and he gets the capper to tie it at 7.
Oilers are at it again. Look at this. 3 straight turnovers. Here's the third. The hit on Nielsen by Neil Elshire right into the hands of Charlie Johnson. He scores it 10-0 Minnesota. Back to you, Dick.
So the Jets use a long 7-minute, 44-second drive after Marino had hit more quickly on the 66-yard touchdown tie game. Colton Walker, number 41, comes up to get it. He was that Super Bowl star, setting a record for kickoff return, and he's in the open at the 30, the 50, and out of bounds at the Jets' 47-yard line. Colton Walker, Kirk Springs made the tackle.
Jets have been doing a good job of holding the kickoff returns down, but Walker showing a great speed here, able to get past a couple of the initial touches right there, one by Rusty Balboa, 94. Now watch him turn it on past Springs here, who was the contained man. Walker just hot-footing it down the sideline until he's driven out of bounds right there.
Walker had that 98-yard Super Bowl kickoff return against the Redskins for a touchdown in the first half.
Big help to start that ball out beyond the 50.
46-yard line. Miami and the Jets are tied at 7. Less than 4 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Tony Nathan greeted rudely by Mark Gastineau.
We'd had a chance to look at the fine center for the Jets. Now let's go and look at Dwight Stevenson right in the middle of your screen, 57. Blocking back right there, driving on Joe Klecko. Klecko able to get by Stevenson and get a good piece of that tackle. Some good defensive work by Joe Klecko.
Klecko underneath and Gastineau on top. A 1-yard gain. The resodded portion of Shea Stadium, part of the infield dirt, and the footing not quite as good.
Well, anytime you have to cut on that sodded portion of the field, you take a chance of losing your foot. You see it right there. Bennett with a big run of 25 yards last week, and the former Jet would like to do well against his ex-teammates. Unable to do it on that play.
Third down and 7 at the 43. Intended for Duper, and well covered by the Jets' Jerry Holmes. Oh, the Jets showing some emotion.
That's something that's going to please their coach, Joe Walton. Duper slipping down on the outside. We talked about his speed. He's down quickly into the secondary, rounds the corner off a little bit, but look at that nice play by number 29, Johnny Lynn. Just darted over and knocked that ball away. Jerry Holmes also there to help on the play.
Reggie Roby, he's a story in itself. I don't think there's a more powerful leg in all of football than this man. He can kick it right out of the stadium. Two-step kicker from Iowa. Watch how high he gets it. And that'll be the Jets' ball at the 50-yard line. Darrell Ray blocks the kick. Number 28, Ray.
The book on Roby is that he takes a long time to kick the football. The Jets bargaining on having some time to get in there, went after his first kick. Now watch Roby. Watch how deliberate he is. He'll take the ball, take his time. He had to adjust to the snap, but look how slow that is. And Darrell Ray just knifing in from the outside, able to slap that football away. Jets get a big break here early. That's his first block, lifetime. But boy, I'll tell you, that's a big play for the Jets special team.
So tied at 7, the Jets have it at the 50-yard line. Crutchfield. Well, they said that Dwayne Crutchfield wouldn't play much today, but Crutchfield proving them wrong, apparently, after warm-up and saying they felt some tightness. Once put in the game, he's feeling pretty loose. Other scores in the NFL on this brilliant Sunday in the East. Pittsburgh leading 17-0 in the first quarter. New Orleans has San Francisco in front 6-0 in the second, and San Diego has a 7-0 lead at New England. On 2nd and 3, Crutchfield has a first down. Oh,
he finally made the tackle after another 8-yard gain.
Ripping it off. And of course, that was one of the concerns that Bill Arnsparger had about his team today. They're playing, of course, with a revamped linebacking corps, and those are the people you count on to stop the running game. Good adjustment by Crutchfield as he's able to get outside. Twilly, the young linebacker that they've had to put in because of the injuries, unable to get him down.
Augustiniak throwing a key block to help Crutchfield. First down at the 35. Crutchfield powering for 6 more. They're running right where A.J. Dewey is not. Dewey injured, and they're really picking on that side of the Miami defense. And a Dolphin is injured on that last play. Boy, if that's a linebacker, Don Shula be ready to eat a helmet. And it looks like a linebacker number. Appears to be Emmett Tilley, number 52. And that is another linebacker. Oh, my.
Well, their problems at linebacking started at the beginning of the year with the tragic death of Larry Gordon, who's been a starter and big play linebacker. And then they have gone down one after another.
So if that is a serious injury, they don't have enough linebackers in that 3-4 defense. He may have to go to a 4-man line. We have a timeout.
Look at this 11-yard rumble carries 2 Vikings with him. And that closes it to 10-7 Minnesota. All right, let's go back to Shea now.
Thank you, Len Berman. Emmett Tilley is okay. Came off under his own power. A.J. Dewey had gone to the dressing room. Has been taped. It's a groin injury. It appears he will come back to the Miami defense. 4-man defensive line for Miami. And Harper on the draw. Stuck hold at the 27. 2 yards shy of a first down. Mike Charles, 71, in on the play. Along with Charles Bowser.
Charles is the 4th lineman going in.
New England has kicked a field goal to cut San Diego's lead to 7-3 in the second quarter. Houston, as you just heard, Minnesota leading 10-7 in the first. Lions have a 7-0 lead on a Billy Sims touchdown in the first quarter. 6-3 Tampa Bay over St. Louis. They missed an extra point. Here it's 7-all, and that is the end of the first quarter, I believe. Time has run out.
Shot of A.J. Dewey warming up on the sideline. He went into the locker room briefly. I believe they taped up his groin. Looks like he'll be back in the ballgame.
The end of the first quarter in sunny Shea Stadium in New York. The Dolphins scored on a 66-yard pass, and the Jets came back to tie in a long drive. Number 40, he's a 198-pound safety man. He is the emergency linebacker. Jets have the ball 3rd and 2. Beautiful move to take it away from Wesley Walker. William Judson, his second interception of the year, and he made it look easy.
Todd had done a good job the last couple of seasons of limiting the number of bad throws, the number of interceptions as compared to his touchdowns. But that one hung for a long time, and Judson read the ball very well, cut across in front. Time for Todd to throw the football, but the ball never makes it to Wesley Walker in the end zone.
And we have a timeout, just starting this second quarter.
Especially in time of possession at 66 yards out of that 73 on one play for the Dolphins.
Time of possession, Jets owning the ball most of the time, but the score is tied at 7. And on the pass interception in the end zone, Marino from his 20 to the tight end Dan Johnson. Well covered. Bobby Jackson playing with that broken finger, making a solid hit after a 2-yard gain. Johnson, the tight end, tied at 7 at Shea. Let's check elsewhere. NFL 83.
All right, Dick, after the Earl Campbell touchdown we showed you a few moments ago, back come the Vikings. This is Steve Dills. He finds Steve Jordan, a youngster from Brown. The Vikings have that 10-point lead again, 17-7. Back to Dick and Merlin now.
At the 22-yard line, 2nd and 8 for the Miami Dolphins. David Overstreet, number 1 pick out of Oklahoma, very near a first down at the the 30. Overstreet, who played his first 2 years with Montreal in the Canadian Football League. Stroy made the tackle along with Greg Buttle.
Number 48, Kenny Stroy, man who made that big play on that little screen to the tight end, reading quickly from his safety position, slipping in behind the other defenders, does a good job one-on-one of grabbing David Overstreet's legs. Overstreet with brilliant speed has not given Miami the kind of big play punch that Don Shula hoped for when they were able to get him back from Canada. You hear Bob Kuchenberg saying, you want the penalty? He's loud enough to carry clear up here, Dick.
And Don Shula said, yes, we'll take the 5 yards, save the down. It'll be 2nd down and 2 at the 28-yard line.
Offside, defense, number 50, 2nd down.
Bob Crable, who had moved into the line, was offside. A.J. Dewey, and you can see now the accent after the E. He doesn't want to be A.J. Dewey, it's Dewey.
Now, right now, he'd rather be healthy. Word comes to us he may not play anymore today because of that groin pull.
Franklin straight ahead, very close to the first down at the 30. Buttle leading the defensive charge. Don Shula, will this be his last year in Miami? He has been contacted by the U.S. Football League, New Jersey Generals, a general offer, and Don Shula's word has been made. They're talking big dollars, obviously. Shula in turn and Joe Robbie, owner of the Miami Dolphins, are discussing his staying in Miami. Generally regarded as the one man, if you could go out and pick your coach, I don't think there are many who would argue that you'd like to have Shula. First down, Marino. Going long. Almost intercepted by Darrell Ray. It was intended for Duper. 7-all, the score here in New York. Let's go back to NFL 83.
Dick, some great action going on around the league. Check out this angle in Foxborough. Dan Fouts pumps, looks left, fakes, throws right. Bobby Duckworth, 40 yards for the top NFL offense. The Chargers now lead the Patriots 14-3. Back to you, Dick.
All right, Len. They're even at Shea at 7 with 13 minutes left in the first half. 2nd and 10, Miami at its 30. Is down. Overstreet with a 16-yard run. Will it count?
It appeared there would be a holding penalty on the play, but some great blocking on Bob Crable that time, middle linebacker. They're pinning him down to the inside. He simply was unable to get out. Give you a chance to look at it at home. Crable playing for the injured John Woodring. Woodring, here he is, right in the center of your picture. Now look at Stevenson, the center, out so quickly. Even though Crable is way off the line, Stevenson was able to get out in front of him and cut him off. Now that's great play by the center, but not good play by the linebacker.
Yeah, the play's going to count apparently. Or have the officials there?
There is no foul. It was a running play, so therefore there can be no shot block. It's a first down.
So there was a chop block on a pass play. That's a penalty. On the running play, no penalty. And Don Shula, who traditionally has the least penalized team in the National Football League, and they've been the least penalized again this year, sees that 16-yard gain count. From the 46, Marino. No good. He's out of bounds. Duper at the 42 of New York.
Duper way off to the side on that play. That's something that's going to happen. Duper with his first start last week. Marino with his first start last week. Now they're going to have to throw a lot of footballs back and forth before they get very comfortable. There's the shot by Marino. And Duper just didn't feel that sideline. Took the ball in the air, landing clearly out of bounds, and then getting an argument from the sideline. Unjustified in that case.
Marino with an auspicious debut. 3 touchdowns, 322 yards last week against Buffalo. Guess who? The Jets' first sack, and it's Gastineau.
Roby had the last one blocked. Let's see what they do here.
10 men on the line of scrimmage. Davlin Mullen is the only deep man. End over end. Mullen at the 13-yard line, and wisely he caught the ball, because with that end-over-end kick, it would have bounced toward the goal line, and Miami had someone down there to make sure it didn't go in the end zone.
As we watch Roby's kicking action, short hang time. He's had them in the air as long as 5.5 to 6 seconds in practice and sometimes in the game. But this one does not turn over, does get it down just outside the 10-yard line.
And the New York Jets, Miami Dolphins, as it figured, 7-all. The defenses. So we started with that perspective. What's your thoughts now?
Well, certainly some problems for Bill Arnsparger with A.J. Dewey limping. He's really in trouble with those linebackers. Has gone to a 4-man line. He's going to have to make some real adjustments, and that puts some extra coins in Bill Walton's pocket or in Joe Walton's pocket on the other side. And let's see how he tries to take advantage of those weaknesses in Miami's defense.
And the fact that Crutchfield apparently isn't as seriously injured as the Jets had feared. So the Jets lost a scoring opportunity the last time when Todd was intercepted in the end zone. New York starts at its 12-yard line. Down the middle, Jerome Barkham, the tight end. And Barkham caught that one in a crowd at the 46-yard line. 29 yards on the play.
Richard Todd promised us that he would be going deep. He is certainly living up to that part of the bargain. Throws a very pretty strike right down the center, and Barkham, who's made some big plays against the Dolphins over the years, back to catch it.
Number 2 all time, Jerome Barkham, to Don Maynard in Jets history. Delay now as the Jets come out and the old power I formation. Then they chip. Harper and Durking behind Todd. Wesley Walker had beaten Gerald Small. The pass, Merlin seemed to hang a bit. Small with his speed, able to get back and knock it away. It appeared to be a sure touchdown.
Well, certainly would have been had it been thrown long enough. Gerald Small tends to camp on those 14 to 16-yard patterns, and they were hoping to get him deep. They said, we think we can get deep on Small. Well, they did, but Wesley Walker had to wait for the football, and Gerald able to come back and knock it away. Did a good job of catching up with Walker after the throw.
Now that twice Todd has been denied, once on the interception, and on this occasion the man open, he couldn't get it there. Draw play to Harper. And Harper, some clever running, picks up nearly 10 yards as he's at the Miami 44. Hear the band going, Bruce, Bruce.
Harper just skittering. That's a good call by the Jets as they're taking advantage of Harper's quickness out of the backfield. Obviously, Miami expecting the pass play. We're hit by the quick one on the field. We've got an injury on the field again, but let's look at, we're watching the replay of Harper. Pulls out of a tackle there, does a good job. Lyle Blackwood, 42, and Beaucamper. And I believe Beaucamper actually drove Harper for enough yardage for the first down.
The entry again is to number 52, Emmett Tilley, the linebacker, rookie free agent from Duke for the Miami Dolphins. So we have a timeout, tied at 7.
Right back. This is Tony Collins, 7 yards for the score, and Jets fans well remember what Collins did to them. It's now 14 to 10 Chargers. Let's go back to Chase Stadium.
10 minutes remaining in the first half here at Chase Stadium. The Dolphins and the Jets are tied at 7. New York with a football at the Miami 44 and a first down. Wesley Walker to the right. Jerome Barkham to the left. We understand we lost our picture momentarily. So from the 44-yard line, Richard Todd looks at the defense, back to pass. And he goes long for Walker. It's going to be intercepted again. Judson to the 25 and out of bounds at the 29. So ball deep enough, and Judson has his second interception of this quarter.
Todd just not getting enough velocity on that football. The ball thrown well shot of a very open receiver. Chance to see it. Walker just flat runs by Judson, but watch how short the pass is. Judson there to catch the football, and then the Jets add insult to injury here as they make a late hit out of bounds, and they'll tack on a 15-yard penalty at the end.
So Judson, 2 interceptions. The penalty takes it out to the 45-yard line on the personal foul. We understand we've lost the picture again, so we'll do an old radio play-by-play. The Miami Dolphins in a 7-all tie. 9 minutes and 42 seconds remaining in the first half. We apologize for our technical difficulties, and we're working feverishly to correct them. From the 45, Dan Marino, the rookie quarterback, sets his line. Has Duper to the left and Plank to the right.
Of course, they'd like to get after Crable a little bit inside. He has not been as effective against the run as he is against the pass. So far, they're not being able to take advantage of the game up the middle.
All right, Marino on second down and 8 has Bennett, the fullback, up on a wing, holding Nathan in the backfield with it. Marino running back to pass. In trouble, and down he goes at the 40-yard line. The Jets have their second sack. Joe Klecko and Marty Lyons.
Again, Marino taking a great deal of time, but Lyons just lining up on him in the backfield and taking to the ground. Jets with 16 sacks on the season now, but 7 of those sacks against Buffalo in one game. They're very pleased to get some pressure on the quarterback today.
We apologize for still working on our picture, so we'll continue with our radio call. 40-yard line, a loss of the play. Third down and 15. Out of the shotgun, Marino. Marino with a snap, back to throw. Looks, throws to this side. Overshoot. Nat Moore at the 48-yard line. Coverage by Johnny Lynn of the Jets. And the Jet punting return team comes in, and Reggie Roby, the punter, in for Miami.
Dick, we just got word that Emmett Tilley, injured linebacker, is in the locker room. His shoulder will be put in a harness. They've now got 9 linebackers on the injured line. Boy, I don't know what they're going to do down there for linebackers.
They have only 3 healthy linebackers now for a team that uses 4. They're going to have to go to a whole new defensive set. The snap to Roby is low. He hits a wobbly boot to the near side. Lands out of bounds at about the 18-yard line. Yes, at the 18 they mark it. So the Jets will take over at that spot when we return. Timeout, 8 minutes, 15 seconds left in the first half. 7-7 tie.
Video problems at Shea Stadium. The telephone company is hard at work to fix it. We will send you to another game in the interim until we can get our pictures fixed at Shea Stadium. Here's what happened moments ago at Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh. The rookie from Carson Newman, Boyce Green, a thrilling 23-yard run to bring Cleveland within 10 points of Pittsburgh. It's 20-10 Steelers. It's in the second quarter. Cleveland's never won at Three River Stadium. Let's send you there. Charlie Jones and Bob.
Todd's pass.
Ball is deflected by Doug Benner's big number 75 and shades of the Super Bowl last year when Bo Camper had his hands on one against Washington and it was stripped out of his hands by the quarterback. They didn't get to him that time. He waltzed into the end zone. Fine play, and that's a tremendous play, Dick.
Third interception of Todd. It's 13-7 Miami. Von Schamann to try the extra point. So Von Schamann's troubles continue. While you were away watching Pittsburgh and Cleveland, Von Schamann missed a 37-yard field goal. He's in a slump. He has not kicked a field goal in 4 games plus this one, and now has an extra point blocked by Ben Rudolph, number 76.
Here's that miss on the field goal, Dick, and Von Schamann just banged it off to the right. Missed 2 in the overtime last week, 1 to the right, 1 to the left, and you see his head go down. But like the golfers who make a bad shot, you've just got to put it behind you. Apparently Von Schamann not able to do that, comes right back and misses an extra point.
Well, Merlin, while we were having our technical difficulties, let's just review what did happen. There was no significant play until the Jets punting to Miami. Chuck Ramsey had his punt blocked by Eddie Hill, and Miami took over at the 28. Could not move the ball, so Von Schamann tried the 37-yard field goal, was wide to the right. Then the Jets took over at the 20 after the missed field goal, and you saw the key play as Betters made
made the play with a deflected pass right into the arms of Bo Camper. Bo Camper with a touchdown. Now the blocked extra point, and you're up to date at 13-7.
And perhaps the most significant development on the field, the injuries to the linebackers for Miami. Bill Arnsparger came in already with linebacking trouble. Dewey is out with a pulled groin. He's had Tilly on the sideline with an injury. Brown has been injured. They're really short. They've gone to a four-man line. They're not able to play their normal defensive scheme. We're going to watch them try and adjust and try and hang on to this 6-point lead.
2 minutes and 56 seconds left in the half. Miami with a 13-7 lead. Kick is to Kirk Springs at the 5. Springs to the 30. And finally wrestled out of bounds at, they say, the 29-yard line. He stepped out. Steve Clark made the tackle for Miami. Let's go back. You don't see many plays like this one. Bo Camper, a gift touchdown.
And of course, half of the game is luck as well as skill. The skill right there as Better gets pressure and goes up and bats it away. Bo Camper in the right place at the right time, and the payoff is there in the end zone.
In a way, it seems so unfair. Really, the credit should go all the Betters. He made the play, but all you'll read about is Bo Camper with a touchdown. But those things even out on a good team. You're just as happy that somebody in the right uniform got the score. Meanwhile, the Jets offense is sputtering primarily because Richard Todd has not had a good first half. There have been the opportunities, but Todd has been intercepted 3 times.
Almost reminiscent of last week's game against Cleveland, where they moved it so well, could not score.
2:25 left. That ball not near a green shirt as Todd was being pressured by Kim Bocamper.
You can't blame Todd for one like that. There just wasn't time for him to get that football off. And look at the numbers for Todd. 8 completions, 20 attempts, 99 yards, 1 TD, but the biggest number on the board, 3 interceptions.
And 2 of those interceptions, he had a man open in the end zone, couldn't hit him. The other became a touchdown for Miami. That's a 21-point difference. 2:23 left in the half. 3rd down and 8. And he's in trouble again. Complete to Barkham, but that pass won't count. There's going to be holding on the Jets. One of the Dolphin defenders was coming in on Todd, and a Jet player just tackled him.
Trying to talk to the officials there. There were 2 flags thrown by the officials, and obviously someone detected putting the clamps on, and they began the walk-off there. Of course, the Dolphins will take the penalty, not wishing to see that completion stand.
Yeah, the liberal rules that provide the offensive lineman with more technique than ever before, but you can't tackle a man.
Offense, number 72, 3rd down.
Chris Ward stopped his man, that's for certain. It was one of the better tackles of the game.
13-7. Miami leads.
Jets trying to take advantage, as we said, of a wounded defense, but so far Miami adjusting well.
3rd down and 19. Oh, dangerously close to another interception as Walker had no less than 5 Miami defenders around him. As you said, Merlin, they're going to take Walker out of the Jets offense if they can.
Joe Walton talked to Todd and has talked to him repeatedly about putting the bad plays behind him. He said one of the things that Todd has had difficulty doing is coming back from an interception, coming back from a bad game, and he really thought he was getting him to the point where he could do that. Todd's going to have to do that in this game if the Jets are going to get back into it.
Chuck Ramsey, only the 2nd time in his career with the Jets, he had a punt block the last time, and 10 men on the line of scrimmage for Miami. Mark Clayton is deep. And that block punt will shake a man. It's a very short kick. Oh, as Clayton hit at the 46, a dangerous return try by the rookie Clayton, and he was hammered by Kirk Springs.
21, down quickly, and that's a dangerous play, but I think they felt that they were on the sideline with it. Watch Clayton come up. The ball bounces. He takes it cleanly, and the smack right there. I don't know whether he was... Well, he did hang on to that football. Good concentration, but bad judgment.
The Dolphins, because of their defense and Todd unable to, in the hurry-up offense, move the football, Miami now is presented with a nice package. They have over 2 minutes left in the half. Good field position at their own 46. That was a 34-yard punt. Leading leading 13-7. Dan Marino at the controls, the young quarterback. Screen, Woody Bennett, 45, and down at the 48-yard line. Ken Roy and Bob Crable on the tackle, and the 2-minute warning is given at 1 minute 54 seconds. 1:54 left in the half. Miami near midfield trying to add to its 13-7 lead. That's been furnished as a public service by the National Football League. 1 minute 54 seconds left in this first half. It's been a confusing half and a puzzling season for Joe Walton and his New York Jets, one of the preseason favorites to make it to the Super Bowl. Both these clubs 3-3. A most important game to win and one you can't really afford to lose. 13-7 Dolphins. Marino on the roll. And out of bounds at the Jets' 49-yard line. And of a couple for Marino. He is much bigger than I had thought, Merlin.
He is a big horse, and he's a fine athlete as well.
Other scores. Pittsburgh, as you saw, that last touchdown, leading Cleveland 27-10. Bringing you up to date, New Orleans has a 7-point lead against San Francisco. That's the most important game in the NFC West. San Diego built its lead at New England at 21-10. These are all second quarter scores. Minnesota has a 27 lead against Houston. Detroit 14-3 at home against Chicago. St. Louis 13, Tampa Bay 6 in the second quarter. No score yet, Buffalo and Baltimore. 3rd and 5. Gastineau, that'll be an incomplete pass, not a fumble. Joe Klecko, well, his eyes had to be big when he saw that ball downfield. Marino hit by Gastineau just as he delivered the pass, incomplete. And now the Jets will have time. 1:44 left in the half.
And one of the lessons that Dan Marino will have to learn is that there's only so much time back there. He's got to find the receiver, get the ball off. Taking a little too much. Gastineau throwing Laxo away. And a wise move by Marino. Followed through with that hand. Even though it hit his own man there on the line, they call it an incomplete pass.
Hit Ed Newman right in the helmet. Newman must have been wondering what's happening here. Here's Roby. He's had a punt block. Just flattens the ball. He hits it so hard. And the rookie Davlin Mullen from Western Kentucky, as the Dolphins ran by him, Mullen returns it out across the 20 to the 21. Just a 32-yard punt by Roby. He's not happy.
And you hear a lot of unhappy fans here in Shea Stadium as they welcome the Jets offensive team onto the field. Jets would welcome a little offense here, wouldn't they, Dick?
Indeed they would. Todd has not had a good half. Now, we have a good schedule for you next week. A doubleheader, Cleveland, Cincinnati, New England, Buffalo, Kansas City, Houston. These are the early games, 12:30 for NFL 83. Also Miami and Baltimore at 1:30. And we'll show you those West Coast games in a moment. Todd is incomplete to Scott Durkin. We have two outstanding late games next week. Merlin and I will be up in Seattle for the Steelers and the Seahawks, and the high-powered Chargers against the defensive-minded Denver Broncos at Mile High Stadium. That's a doubleheader here on NBC next week.
Todd still having trouble. That short pass to Durkin, the kind that they have practiced so often, just misconnects. Durkin took the ball a little bit behind him, bounced it in the air. Todd's timing is not on today, Dick.
1 minute, 27 seconds left in the half. Doug Betters, that is his second sack of the game, his 10th of the year, and for the moment, Doug Betters, the 6-year veteran from Nevada Reno, is leading the NFL in sacks with 10.
Todd hurries up on the play. He's got it snapped again.
On 3rd and long, he goes short to Durkin, 25-30. He'll be short of the first down by a yard. Bob Brzezinski made the tackle, and timeout is called with 1 minute and 3 seconds left in the half.
Miami wants the timeout. They may want a chance to block another of Ramsey's kicks.
Reminder, this telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the New York Jets and the National Football League is prohibited. 4th down and 1. They've not changed the yard marker yet.
Now it's still, there it goes. Now they're sending the kicking team onto the field. I wonder why the offense was staying out there.
So with 1:03 left, Miami will get another chance, and Walton is scuffing the dirt. He's unhappy.
He certainly is unhappy, and rightfully so. He publicly came out, was a little hard on his team. In fact, the hardest criticism we've seen so far. And one of the questions you have to ask about a man who is basically as pleasant and as well-disciplined as a Joe Walton, is he mean enough to get a team that is not playing well and grab them by the shoulder and shake them and get them back into the game? He has to prove that.
Clayton is inside the 30. Ramsey had a punt blocked and also a short punt. Gets this one beautifully. Clayton at his 20. 30. 33, and Rusty Gilbo coming downfield threw quite a hit on Clayton. 50-yard punt, 13-yard return. One of the questions I'd like you to answer, Merlin, they say that the two toughest cities to play in pro football are New York and Los Angeles. You played in one. The big city environment, all the publicity, all the attention that the athlete gets. And that teams like the Green Bays, the smaller town teams where there are less distractions, actually that's a better football town for a coach. A coach has more control of his players. I'd like you to deal with that after this play. 33-yard line. Time remaining 52 seconds for Marino out of the shotgun. Complete to Nathan. And Tony Nathan is all the way to midfield.
That's the kind of big plays that we mentioned that Tony Nathan was capable of, and Marino will come right back with no huddle, without a huddle, to see if he can get more yardage.
34 seconds, 33. Incomplete. And Marino is kissed pretty hard as he delivers that ball. Clock stops at 29 seconds.
Dick, in answer to your question, no question in my mind that it's very difficult for a coach and for players in a big city where there are so many pressures on them. Media pressures, so many other kinds of things happening to take their time and take their interest. This town in particular, at practice they may have as many as 40 reporters, and they want to talk to everybody, and they really can't put the squeeze on you in a hurry. In a town like Green Bay, a coach often will control the press to a great degree, and he'll have the newspaper men by the ear, and he'll say, "Don't print this story. I don't want it in." You can't do that in a city like New York City, and there's no question that there's a great deal more pressure on the coaches, on a Joe Walton, just in a matter of time. How much time does he have to spend with reporters and with the media? A real drain on his energy at time as well.
Marino, yet we're offside on the last play. And Duper, is it a catch? Yes, at the 32-yard line with 24 seconds remaining. Mark Duper with the reception.
Duper, the deep man we mentioned last week, over 200 yards, 2 TDs. Marino really has a gun. Look how quick he gets this ball to the receiver. Good pass. Duper able to get his feet down inbounds. We saw him drop them out of bounds on a play similar to that earlier.
Super duper. He's got great speed. He anchored the NCAA Sprint Relay Championship team. Joe Delaney, the late running back with the Kansas City Chiefs, was on that 4x100 Sprint Relay team. Open, but overpowered was David Overstreet. That one burned his hands.
Overstreet not happy about that one, and he has not really had many chances to produce for Miami. Of course, went to Canada, played there after being a first draft pick for the Dolphins. On Shaman, hoping that he gets a chance to break that very bad streak he's in. He's a fine young man. Very frustrating for a kicker. You talk about being naked. They go out there all alone. I'm glad I didn't have that responsibility.
Second down play with 16 seconds left in the half. Overstreet with flags down. Overstreet is inside the 25 of the Jets. And we'll check the penalty flag as the clock stops with 12 seconds showing.
Kenny Neal, number 77, had jumped off sides, and I think they'll take the play. Well, they may not, because it would be a third down coming up. Let's see what Don Shula likes to do here.
Eddie Murray has kicked the field goal for the Lions. They lead the Bears now 17-3, and Pittsburgh has scored again. Stout to Sweeney, and the Steelers lead the Browns 34-10.
Dick, in the middle of that line for the Dolphins, when they go into a shotgun, they bring in a new center, Mark Dennard, and Dennard snaps exclusively on the shotgun formation. but they don't take their other center, Dwight Stevenson, out of the game. They move him over to guard, take Kuchenberg out. Stevenson, a little better pass protector than the old veteran Kuchenberg.
One of the great inverts.
One of the great inverts. One of the great players, too. Shula exhorting his troops. He would like to get some more points on that board.
Offside defense, number 77, declined. Third down.
Okay, takes the gain, gives up the down. Interesting call. Interesting call.
Yeah, he figures with only 12 seconds left that the downs aren't going to matter anyway. He's only really got one more down, plus either a field goal try or go for it all. Inside the 25. Out of the shotgun, Marino trying to add to the 13-7 Miami lead. Down the middle, Rose. Joe Rose. And that was a 30-yard bullet. That ball was 5 feet off the ground right to number 80, right to the two numerals.
Shades of some of the strong-arm quarterbacks we've seen come into the league. Terry Bradshaw, Roman Gabriel, and Marino throws a hot strike down the middle. Second touchdown of the ball game. Marino without an interception in this game has had a fine ball game to kick.
So Marino with his second touchdown pass, he hit the veteran Nat Moore 66 yards. That one was good for 24. Von Schaman had his last extra point try block. And hits that one cleanly. But for the Miami Dolphins, just 7 seconds before halftime, they have opened the lead to 20-7.
Marino with 8 touchdowns now on the season and only 3 interceptions. That's a fine ratio for the young man. And you expect these rookies to make mistakes. Not a mistake here. Boy, he zipped that past the linebacker right into the hands of Joe Rose.
That's a good point, Merlin. If you were to say, okay, you've got a good rookie, but that's what he is, a first-year man starting, and here are the numbers, 3 and 8. Which one do you think is interception? Which one touchdown? Normally, it's 3 touchdowns, 8 interceptions because they're going to be confused. They lead 7-0 in the battle for first place. Short kick to Marion Barber of the Jets. He's back to the 48-yard line. Clock stopped with 4 seconds, so a chance for one play for Joe Walton. Of course, we'll have all the scores and highlights of early action today on NFL 83. So stay with us. We have 4 seconds to go. That is not the end of the first half. We still have 4 seconds left. And the Jets with a final play.
Joe Walton, I'm sure, extremely frustrated at the performance of his troops, and he said it. He said, I just don't understand. Some weeks we practice well, we play poorly. Other weeks, practice poorly and play well. I don't understand this team.
Here's that triple right where they'll send everyone deep down one side and hope for a deflection. Todd stepping up and gunning it deep. And it's another interception, I believe, for the same man, William Judson. Yes, the hat trick for Judson. 3 interceptions in this first half, and with that, the first half comes to a close.
Dan Marino, following a strong second half last week, 66 yards to Nat Moore, breezing by Ken Troy. That made it 7-0 Dolphins early. Now, the Jets did come back. First quarter, Todd, 2 yards. Mike Augustiniak, wide open. That capped an 83-yard drive. 3 plays later, though, Richard Todd intercepted for the first of 3 times by William Judson. Now, here was the game breaker thus far. Shades of the championship game. Then it was Dewey, this time in Camper, after a tip by Betters. He takes it in for the touchdown, and the Dolphins are on their way. And here's how they capped it off. Marino looking awfully strong as a rookie to Joe Rose. He was open in the zone. There it is, 20-7 Miami for Don Shula and company at halftime.
Series, 17 times Miami has won. The Jets have won 17 times. There's been 1 tie. And this afternoon, Miami with 4 interceptions, 1 for a touchdown, lead the New York Jets 20-7 at the intermission. Each team 3-3. Both both teams unhappy with their start. The Jets particularly, the word over and over again in the newspaper columns this week, the Jets are puzzling. They can't figure out why this team isn't 5-1.
Well, with all of the energy, all the horsepower they have, certainly not able to take advantage of it. But the critical thing, again, in this ball game, mistakes offensively, and basically in the form of 4 interceptions for Todd. Although, in deference to Todd, one was a batted ball and one thrown in desperation at the half. But the other 2, really unforgivable.
And here are those 2. Richard Todd had Wesley Walker open both times. See Walker deep. Judson was beaten on the play, took it off in the end zone, and here's the other one.
No question that Richard just underthrew this ball as he did the other one. Judson there to pick it off, and those are the big plays of the first half for the Dolphin defense. A defense, by the way, playing under some real severe handicaps, and you'd think that the Jets would have been able to take advantage of that for more points.
The fact that the Dolphins have had to alter their defense because they don't have enough healthy linebackers. Now, if Don Shula's quarterback had thrown 4 interceptions in the first half, one might suspect that Shula, his pattern has been go to the bench, try someone else. How about the Jets? Do you think that Walton will make a change?
Neither of the other quarterbacks has thrown a single pass in a regular season game, and I don't expect to see other of them. If we did see Ryan out there, that would come as a real shock to me. But there's no question that Shula has a unique advantage. He could employ either of his other 2 quarterbacks, Woodley in long relief or Strock in short relief. But I don't expect Walton to make that kind of change.
He has gone with Richard Todd so heavily to make that change now, and such a critical game might have a lot of emotional and psychological impact.
Well, very important that they get themselves emotionally in gear here and get some points on the board.
All right, the New York Jets and the Miami Dolphins ready for the kickoff to open the second half, and the Dolphins with a 20-7 lead will get the ball first.
For the Jets defense, they've got to come out smoking, shut down the offense. Offensive statistics, look at the time of possession. For the Jets, again, just a dominant there. Total yardage, they control it there. But the big number there, 4 turnovers for the Jets, no turnovers for Dan Marino. The young man is doing a good job, and they've kept his game plan relatively simple to help him.
And the kick by Leahy. Second half underway. Fulton Walker had 1 big kickoff return in the first half. He's at the 10. And stumbles to the 27, and their flag's down. Penalty apparently against the Jets.
Now they'll mark it off against Miami. Some kind of illegal block on the play or illegal use of hands, and that's a good, perhaps a good omen for the Jets. Miami not penalized very often. Shula proud of the fact that his team goes on the field, does not make too many mistakes, rarely beat themselves, although they have done some of that this year. This has not been a great year for Shula's teams.
Illegal use of the hands, number 76 on the return. First up.
Steve Clark, the man ticketed for the foul.
So Miami will start just across the 17-yard line. Impressive rookie Dan Marino. Andra Franklin caught in the backfield by Neal, and there's plenty of Jet support. Bell and Troy, Marty Lyons all in on the play.
Dolphins employing 2 tight ends sent Bruce Hardy, number 84, into the game, and Hardy, suffering from damaged ribs, was expected to block on the line, make some room for Franklin, missed his block, and that was one of the reasons that play was shut down so quickly.
Woody Bennett, number 34, late getting into the huddle to give the play to Dan Marino as Franklin comes out. Second down, 11. Open is Joe Rose, who caught the touchdown just before the end of the first half. Rose short yardage out to about the 23-yard line, a 6-yard play. Other scores at the half: Steelers a big lead against the Browns. San Francisco trailing New Orleans 13-9 in the third. 21-10 San Diego's lead in the third quarter at New England. 20-7 the Vikings over the Oilers in the third quarter. Chicago scoring just before the half to cut Detroit's lead to 17-10. St. Louis has opened a big lead against Tampa Bay. And it's 14-7 now. Buffalo leading Baltimore in the battle for first place. Third, and that's that little shovel pass to Nathan. And Cody Nathan's all the way to the 42-yard line. So off the shotgun
And one running play that has worked, and against the Cowboys were the first to use it effectively, that little shovel pass to the up back.
Boy, this play is a killer. Look at the little drop right in there, allowing Gastineau to come up inside. A great play as he just chips inside and leaves Buttle laying on the ground away from Kenny Troy there. Finally tackled on the far side by Marty Lyons and Jerry Holmes. But Nathan exploding on that play. That's the kind of versatility and explosion that Shula wants to see out of Tony Nathan.
Interestingly, Lyons tackling Nathan. They were teammates at Alabama. Nathan was in Marty Lyons' wedding. Close friends. Mark Gastineau, and there are very few quarterbacks that can stay ahead of Gastineau when he's tracking you down. And Marino showing he has more than just a strong arm. He has the presence of mind to get away from Gastineau and duck out of bounds.
Well, he's had some opportunities to get the explanation on that from Don Strock and also from Woodley. And they explained to him that you stay a lot healthier if you don't try and go head-to-head with those defensive players. You see there's no room, get yourself out of bounds.
Marino, a +5, touchdowns over interceptions. That last play recorded as a sack. It's second and a long 10. Over the middle, complete for short yardage at the 45. And Joe Rose pays the price as Mel and Crable make the hit.
That's the kind of play that when you sit down with your quarterback on Monday, you say, please, don't throw me anymore like that one. He stretched him out right into the defense, and Rose really took some whacks. Lucky to hang on to the football.
Dan Marino, one touchdown. That was the opening score of the game, a 66-yard pass play to veteran Nat Moore. Duper left, Moore right. On 3rd and 7. What a throw again. It's incomplete at the 40 of the Jets to Duper. But again, Marino just pinpointing that through the Jets defense and with plenty on it.
Shula shaking his head. Marino not yet able to read the defenses as well as he has, or as well as he'll be able to, but so strong that he can wait for the receiver to break and come open and still get the football to him. Face mask there by one of the Jet defenders, not detected by the officials, head snapping around. Jets lucky they didn't get a call there.
Roby has had one block that does not figure in those statistics. Davlin Mullen is back deep. Oh, there's the Roby kick.
Clip.
Mullen tackled immediately at the 15-yard line. And Roby, in the lexicon of the game, when he hangs one up there, he really lets it hang. It seems like it's never going to come down. That was 39 yards, and there is a penalty on the play against Miami, ineligible man downfield, so they'll have to do it over again.
Well, there was an obvious clip on the play, too. That might be what they call the flag thrown extremely late. You could see the clip from here, Dick, and I wondered why it wasn't called. Flag came in late. Maybe they did call it. Penalty is going to go against the Jets. Jets already pinned down on this one. Well, wait a minute.
I think they're going to be nullifying penalties.
Now they go back and kick it again then.
Whoops. This way.
Well,
76, illegal man downfield on a kicking time. Illegal block on the return by the receiving team. We will play that over.
Rusty Gilblow on the clip, and punter Reggie Roby gets another chance to kick it away.
From the rim of Chase Stadium, 60,000 on a magnificent fall afternoon. Roby will try it again. Catch takes a little Miami bounce down to the 17-yard line. So the Jets trailing 20-7 have the football for the first time in the second half. 39-yard kick and no return, and will return in a moment. Today's game is brought to you by Chevrolet.
official U.S. cars and trucks to the 14th Olympic Winter Games. Chevrolet and you taking charge. By Kmart, K-Care Auto Centers, with our promise of service, value, and satisfaction, we've got it good. And by Southern Pacific, 41,000 people working in 18 industries all across America. Dick Enberg, Merlin Olsen at Shea Stadium. Early in the third quarter, Jets first possession. They trail Miami 20-7. Ball at the 17. Dwayne Crutchfield to the 21-yard line. Checking other action in the NFL in the first half of play today. San Francisco narrowing New Orleans' advantage to 13-12 in the third quarter on a field goal by Wersching, his third of the game. New England has kicked the field goal. Steinford 22 yards, 21-13 San Diego. Again, he's hauled down on a solid tackle. Number 59, Bob Brudzinski, always tough against the run, a former All-American at Ohio State.
Two big plays by Brudzinski. Of course, Bill Arnsparger, defensive coordinator, Miami Dolphins, Shula's assistant head coach for so long, has really had his hands full today with all the injuries, has been forced to play a four-man line, has probably had to throw out 80 to 90% of his game plan. He's got Mike Kozlowski in there. Kozlowski's been forced into a linebacking position as a normal defensive back.
Third down and 4. And time is down at the 12-yard line. Charles Bowser, second-year linebacker from Duke, number 56 with the sack, and the Jets will have to kick. We're going to send it to NFL 83.
Thank you, Dick Enberg. Nice to have it. In Minnesota, Gifford Nielsen for Houston. He'll find Chris Dressel, a rookie from Stanford who caught him from Elway last year, goes 35 yards, and Benny Ricardo missed his first field goal, so Houston's within 6. Back to you, Dick.
Yeah, the Oilers with a new coach looking for their first win in 2 seasons. Ramsey from his own end zone. Low kick. Clayton comes up to the 48 of the Jets. Got through the entire Jet wall. He's to the 36-yard line on a short 35-yard punt and a gamey 12-yard return by Clayton.
No hang time on this punt. Gives the receiver a chance to do something with it. And Clayton showing us some great courage as he sifted his way through. Watch him just duck his head and explode for a fine gain.
The Patriots from New England take on the hard-charging Bills, and the Pittsburgh Steelers battle it out with the Seattle Seahawks, plus hard-hitting regional action only on NBC.
Well, Merlin Olsen, do you think Don Shula's going to go to the USFL?
I don't think he really would like to do that. I think he has to consider the option, and I think it's a great offer. It's certainly a lot of money. I think he'd like to stay in Miami, but a lot of this is going to depend on what Mr. Robbie does down there. Whether they get that new stadium lined out, whether they sign their players and get them in, and whether they're willing to pay Shula.
Well, he told us yesterday he's never been happier. He still has a great love for this game and energy for it. Dan Marino, way off the mark, looking for Mark Clayton, number 83. Bobby Jackson thought he had a chance at an interception, and he may have injured that hand of his. No, it's an ankle.
It looked like he banged a leg as he tried to go up for that football, but that ball thrown away, I think. Marino deciding to unload it. And certainly either that or just got away from him, nowhere near the receiver.
Let's pause briefly for station identification from New York. This is the NBC Television Network. With Merlin Olsen, Dick Enberg at Shea Stadium, New York. Third quarter, Dan Marino of Miami trying to hit Tony Nathan, but under pressure from Mark Gastineau and Joe Klecko. Marino offline on his throw. The Dolphins using 4 first-half interceptions, 1 for a touchdown on a deflection to linebacker or defensive end Kim Bocamper. Lead 20-7. It's Miami's ball, 3rd and 10 at the Jets' 36-yard line with 9:35 left in the third quarter.
I'm a little surprised that Shula is still throwing the football here. I would have thought with that kind of lead that he might be trying to eat some up on the ground, establish some control on that football.
but that'll help him claw his way out. It's a first down on a 16-yard play, and Marino led him perfectly.
Juriel has been in Shula's doghouse. A chance for you to watch Juriel Harris coming in from the outside. Now, here's Juriel way out on the outside. Watch him as he'll start inside, drift across. You get a chance to see him in action here. Whoops, we had him spotted in the wrong place. He was on the inside. There he is, right there. Got him one slot too far out, but Harris did a good job of breaking clear on that
You
one.
weren't the only man who didn't cover him.
That's right.
It's first down at the 20. And nothing there for Andre Franklin. The Jets indeed have stopped Franklin and Miami's running game inside. That was Bob Crable, 50, the linebacker from Notre Dame, making the first hit. Now, Ray Wersching has 5 field goals today for the San Francisco 49ers. The NFL record is 7. Wersching has accounted for all 15 points for the 49ers, who now lead New Orleans 15-13.
That's getting him the hard way, isn't it, Dick?
Oh, and Buffalo, Joe Ferguson, 3 touchdown passes now, and it's Buffalo 21, Baltimore 7. Second quarter. Jim Jensen is in at wide receiver. This is David Overstreet inside the 20 to about the 17. A gain of 3, bringing up 3rd and 7. Greg Buttle with a tackle. Buffalo. Ferguson had that big game against Miami last week. Comes right back with 3 touchdown passes first half today.
Talking to the Miami defense, they were terribly impressed. They said that Ferguson threw some passes last week that were so perfect that even with receivers covered, there was no way that they could keep them from pulling them down. And certainly appears to be back on track again this week.
Tampa Bay making a comeback, have cut into St. Louis's lead. The Cardinals 27-20 against the Bucs. 3rd and 7 for Marino. And he threw that one away. Looking for Clayton, who was well blanketed by Bobby Jackson. Here comes Uwe von Schamann. Von Schamann had kicked 6 in a row and then has not made a field goal in the last 4.5 games, including today. He's missed his last 5. He missed, though, for him, a relatively easy 37-yarder wide to the right, his only attempt today, and he's also had an extra point block. So he has to be thinking. There's no wind to worry about. That flag is still in the direction in which he's kicking. This one will be 35 yards. And that'll make everyone in Miami feel better, but most of all, number 5.
You see him taking congratulations from some of his teammates. Believe me, you want that field goal kicker to be in good spirits. You want him to have his head on straight. Von Schamann puts it between the uprights.
And to beat out Gerald Yepremian for the Dolphins' place-kicking chores, Uwe von Schamann makes Miami a 23-7 leader. Better than a 2-touchdown lead. Field goal by von Schamann makes it 23-7, and von Schamann kicking deep. Preston Brown up to the 5, 15, 25, and down at the 27-yard line. Tackle made by Robert Sowell, rookie from Howard University. 22-yard return. There's Ken O'Brien. He was a number 1 draft pick, first selection for the New York Jets, one of 6 quarterbacks taken in the first round in the last draft. And O'Brien was selected, as you can see, this is in order. Elway, Blackledge, Kelly will play in the USFL, Eason, O'Brien, and then Marino. Marino, the 6th quarterback selected, and Miami may have gotten the best of the lot. Shula would argue that point for you at this stage.
Shula may not have to do that.
Wesley Walker right through his mitts, incomplete.
Todd's numbers do not reflect the number of drop balls that he's had, and he's had quite a few. He had a lot of them in Cleveland last week, and Wesley Walker, not the kind of receiver who will normally drop that kind of pass. But I think what happens in a game where you get behind, everybody wants to start to do a little too much. I think Walker probably thinking, can I get this ball and go for a big gain or running it, instead of getting the ball in his hands and then taking off.
Todd with only a 36% completion mark today. 2nd and 10. That's going to be intercepted. Gerald Small, and he laterals. This is Blackwood, Lyle Blackwood. This looks like a California play. What if Joe Camp designed that? And finally down at the 27 by Mike Augustine.
number of interceptions that Miami forced him into in the playoff game last year. 5 big interceptions, a chance to look from high up on top of the stadium, and Todd expecting the receiver to drive inside. Instead, it's Gerald Small, number 48, who flips inside, takes it easily, and then drops it back to Lyle Blackwood right there.
Yeah, the fans trying to help the Jets defense. Marino takes over at the New York 27. And they don't get much with the power game to the 26 goes on for Franklin. Is Walton going to make a change? Shula has made changes, not only in this game, but in the last several years. Will Walton change?
Well, he's going to have to think about it with Richard Todd having this kind of day. And I don't think his history would not indicate it. I think he'll stay with Todd and expect Todd to pull himself out of this slump and get back on track.
Backup quarterback Ryan is warming up on the far side. 2nd and 9. Marino going deep. Touchdown! No, he did not come down with the ball. He had it, but did not get both feet down. Mark Clayton on a perfect throw by Marino, and doesn't that impress you? Here's a guy with a rifle arm, and then he floats one out there perfectly as well.
Clayton at the top of your screen. Now Marino had that ball in the air just after the break. Watch it here as he goes up. He has the football. He's got to come down with both feet. And with control of that football, the official right there on top said no way. Hard for us to see from here.
The screen. Apparently he was juggling the ball, did not have it in his grasp because it appeared otherwise that might have been a score. Jackson, enough pressure to deny the score.
Boy, that's hard, though, when they're throwing a timing pattern like that, and it's well thrown. Even if Ryan were to come into this game, I think again next week you'd see Todd back to be the quarterback for the Jets.
Here's Marino looking over the defense and showing that he has not only the strength but the touch.
That's a finesse pass, and he put it right on the mark.
Can't throw any better than that. That takes home all the Cupid dolls. Watch out on the carnival if you see Dan Marino strolling down the avenue. We have a timeout. 6:05 left in the third quarter. Tennessee, Pat Ryan, you see very little NFL game experience. He's not thrown a pass this year. Is he about to come in?
Well, it would appear that someone has been talking to him, telling him to warm up.
Didn't play last year in the strike-shortened season. Has not played it down this year. Meanwhile, Miami trying to add to a 23-7 lead. This is 3rd down and 9. Marino has a man. Duriel Harris out of bounds at the 4-yard line. And again, Marino, tremendous accuracy. Sounding like his PR agent, but I haven't seen a young man play any better than Marino has today in a long time.
Interesting, he throws this football off his back foot, kind of off balance. Look how he throws, kind of dropping back on that. Look how he's kind of sliding back with the pressure. Still strong enough to put that football right on target. Gets it into the hands of Duriel Harris on the sideline.
So Harris with a couple of key catches here in the third quarter, and with less than 6 minutes left, Miami in position. They score here.
They may be able to put it out of reach.
Yep. Then it doesn't matter quite so much. That's when you can bring in your backup quarterback. Well, that's one thing the Jets have done very well today. They have stopped the Miami running game cold. Woody Bennett gets little if nothing, might have lost a yard. Lance Mel in on the tackle. Boyce Green has just scored for Cleveland to cut Pittsburgh's lead to 34-17. Dwight Hicks to the 49ers, a 62-yard interception for a touchdown. And San Francisco opens a 22-13 lead in New Orleans. Gary Danielson to Ulysses Norris for the Lions, and Detroit leads Chicago 24-10. It appears the Lions starting to put things back together. Here at 23-7 Miami, 2nd and goal. Marino, touchdown, another great throw, this time to Dan Johnson, the tight end. His 3rd touchdown catch of the year, and Marino has been flawless.
And you begin to feel the frustration of the Jets. Darrell Ray, number 28, after the play was over, absolutely kicking the end marker out of its place on the ground. Let's take another close look at Marino. Again, throwing off balance and throwing on the way back. That'll get him in trouble eventually. And Darrell Ray, we didn't see him there, just walked over and kicked that marker right up out of the ground. Dan Johnson, a better blocker than a receiver, but certainly did a good job on that play.
Bonchamin's try for point out of Strock's hold is good. So Dan Marino, his first NFL start last week, Buffalo, 3 touchdown passes. He comes back at New York, his first start on the road in the NFL. He has 3 more touchdown scores and no interceptions. Yeah, he's just like somebody you're taking pictures for a textbook on quarterbacking.
Again, the receiver
was chairman of the board of the Jets, who has made the decision to move his team to the Meadowlands next year. Jim Kensel, the president. There are a lot of signs around Shea Stadium reflecting the mood of some of the Jets fans about that change of venue. Meanwhile, it's all Miami. 30-7. Brown to the 11-yard line, maybe the 12, well covered. The rookie Soul has another tackle, and we have a flag down. Here's a sampling of some of the reaction to the Jets move away from New York to New Jersey. You see the signal holding.
We're trying to see whether they made a quarterbacking change. They have indeed.
And you hear the cheer. The hysterectomy. Just the removal of his team to another place.
Well, Joe Walton has perhaps removed his quarterbacks. They won't have to suffer anymore today. Game virtually out of reach for the Jets at this point. And sometimes, Dick, a change of quarterbacks can get a team fired and also lead to a little lapse on the defensive side.
Ryan, an 11th round draft pick by the Jets in 78 out of the University of Tennessee. Comes out throwing from his own end zone, and he hits Jerome Barkham. 12-yard line. Barkham down immediately by Rodell Thomas.
I think perhaps the bitterest pill for Walton and for these Jets to handle in today's game is that they're dealing with a wounded defense. Bill Arnsparger's defense with all the linebacking problems. They've had to go to a 4-man front. They've had to play a defensive back and linebacker, and yet the Jets offense has really stopped itself repeatedly during the day.
Harper and Durking in the pattern, and again it's Barkham right over the middle. To the 17-yard line. A couple of safe passes to his tight end. And that'll be good for a first down. Pittsburgh still leading Cleveland 34-17 as they battle for first place. San Francisco opens its lead at New Orleans now in the fourth quarter. San Diego, same score as halftime, third quarter at New England. Minnesota hanging on to a 6-point lead against Houston in the third. Detroit opens to 24-10 against the Bears in Pontiac. St. Louis 27-20 against Tampa Bay in the fourth quarter. Buffalo a 21-7 lead. That's for first place in the AFC East. Ryan hit and fights back to the 15-yard line, but the sack, Mike Charles, a second-round draft pick from Syracuse, 6'4", 283, the heaviest man on this Miami team.
Fourth sack of the day. Brzezinski, the man who initially missed him, they're blitzing from the outside. Brzezinski goes through and literally spins Ryan around. Ryan gets away from that one, but does not get away from big Mike Charles.
Ball at the 15, so it'll be second down, 13. It was 7-all after the first quarter, and it's been all Miami since. Bruce Harper, not much running room, gets across the 20-yard line. Brzezinski was there along with Betters and Kozlowski. Those of you who weren't with us earlier, the reason why Bill Arnsparger and Shulev had to work some miracles defensively today, they came very shy of healthy linebackers, and right off the bat in the first quarter lost one of their better players, A.J. Douay, and then one of the rookie replacements, Emmett Tilley, was injured. Mark Brown was already hurt, couldn't play. That left Miami with only 3 linebackers, so he's had to go to a whole new defensive set.
He's got Kozlowski in there, an outside linebacker now.
And he's blitzing on this play. Harper incomplete. Well covered by Brzezinski. So that brings up fourth down and the punting team in for the Jets.
Dick, I think it's worth noting that one of the reasons that Shula and his staff have been so successful over the years is their ability to adjust to different personnel, to different team strengths. And certainly they have proved it again today as they've adjusted to real problems defensively and still managed to hammer on the Jets.
I was going to ask you, why is Shula so successful? Obviously, that's one of the reasons.
Part of it right there. I've got some more thoughts on that.
Ramsey's kick. Dying spiral, fair catch. Kozlowski at the Miami 46. The Dolphins have the lead in good field position again. All right, we're not going to take a commercial here with 2:33 left in the third quarter. What are some of the other reasons that Shula has dominated?
He's been able to do something very special, and that is to maintain his credibility with his players over a long period of time. Don Shula has a great deal of integrity, and it's obvious to the people he deals with that he will be honest with them, he'll be straightforward with them, but he expects a great deal out of them. And you can see his winning percentage is .695, almost 70%. Number one of active coaches, and he's a couple of games behind Landry in the actual wins in lifetime total.
There's a fumble. Has the football. A missed handoff, and there's the first mistake by Marino. One was fumbling the ball, and second was to try to go in and fight for it, and he got pushed out of there in a hurry. Joe Klecko pounced on the ball, and the Jets get their first break of the game.
Klecko's 30th birthday yesterday. This is a late present. He would like to have had this a couple of hours ago in the early going in this game. Klecko in very, very quickly, actually disrupted that handoff, and then able to get back and put himself on top of that football. Good play. Let's see if perhaps Ryan and the Jets offense can get something going. They've been asleep most of the day.
Well, this is the first time they've started a possession other than that blocked punt on the Miami half of the field. Dolphins in control. The Jets with a chance to at least get the fans back in the game. Gaffney in motion. Marion Barber and the former University of Minnesota star plows for about 10 yards. He has the Golden Gopher career rushing record over 3,000 yards. Marion Barber had not carried the football this year.
That's his first time out. Not a bad average, 10 yards a carry.
They mark it as a first down for Barber. He's 6'3" and 224.
Barber breaking to the outside, almost lost his footing. That area has been sodded, as we'd indicated before, pulling a couple of defenders with him as he lunges for the first down.
From the 33, good throw, and a good catch by Lamb Jones. His feet had slipped, and he actually caught that ball falling down in front of Judson. Checking score, Minnesota, Ted Brown, a 4-yard run, and the Vikings lead 27-14 early in the fourth quarter.
Lamb Jones has never really lived up to the kind of promise he came with. Great speed, but does not have the real tenacity, the courage you like to see in your receivers going inside. But let's give him credit. A good job of handling that football, his feet out from underneath him. Second and 1.
1 minute left, third quarter. Bruce Harper, and he is out of bounds with a first down at the Miami 20. When you talk about Lamb Jones, Merlin, you could put together a pretty good NFL sprint relay team. Mark Duper was a world-class sprinter. Of course, Lamb Jones, a gold medal winner in '76 on the sprint relay. I'd say, well, you could put Ronaldo Nehemiah, the San Francisco 49ers. He could also on that team. Got two right here, and Duper and Lamb Jones. And, how about Willie Gault? He has to run that leg on the backside. He showed you can do that.
Gault would do that.
Yeah, pretty good team.
I wouldn't want to try and catch him.
Ryan, good throw. Wesley Walker. No, Ryan has used the short pass effectively. And the Jets continue their march to the Miami 11.
Interesting thought. First catch of the day for Wesley Walker, and of course that's one of the bad stats for the Jets. But a well-thrown football thrown in the area where it could not be intercepted. Walker breaks to the outside. Let's see if Ryan will go back to the pass on second and short.
2nd and 1. Now he goes to the first down carry by Augustiniak, who is inside the 10. First and goal for the New York Jets. They got a big 9 yards to go for the touchdown, and the clock is running. That probably will be the last play of the quarter.
Dick, you asked me about the pressure of playing in a town like New York. One of the pressures, a coach is not free to make decisions without a great deal of scrutiny. Now, let's assume that Ryan continues to play the way he's playing now, has a good day. What happens this next week? All the questions. Well, who plays? You're going to start Ryan? You're going to go back to Todd. Tremendous amount of pressure on the coach. Not necessarily true in a small town, but certainly here you've got that pressure.
And that is the end of the third quarter with Miami in front 30-7. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. Fourth quarter at Shea Stadium. Today's game brought to you by Jeep Cherokee and Jeep Wagoneer. When it comes to four-wheel drive, one word says it all: Jeep. By Anheuser-Busch St. Louis, Brewers of Michelob. Some things speak for themselves. Then by RCA, maker of innovative video products that will open your eyes. In relief of starting quarterback Richard Todd, Pat Ryan. He's the story here in New York as he's trying to rally the Jets from a huge deficit. Miami owns a 30-7 lead as we open the fourth quarter. First and goal for the Jets at the Miami 9. Field, no handoff, and it's a screen to Schuler, and that's going to be a touchdown.
A little throwback screen. Ryan running to his right, pulling the defense with him, and Joe Fields, the center, number 65, will just wait and then drift out on the backside. He's the blocker for Mickey Schuler coming in at the bottom of your picture.
And the kick is good by Pat Leahy, so Pat Ryan, after the fumble recovery by Joe Flacco, is able to take the Jets 43 yards in 6 plays to cut the lead to 30-14.
Now, you didn't see the block. You'll see it here, number 65, bottom of your screen. Right there, you saw the result of it as he knocked Bowser, 56, off his feet, Schuler into the end zone, touchdown.
Now the fourth quarter, only 8 seconds expired in this fourth period. Miami's lead is now at 30-14. Leahy kicking off, Fulton Walker, and they do not use the onside kick. Walker at the 4, the 15, the 20. Oh, what a nice move by Walker, and he's still on his feet, and now he can really go. 45, 50. He's got blockers. And Fulton Walker finally stumbles down and then fumbles, and Miami recovers. Might be the best kickoff man in the NFL, Fulton Walker. He's had a couple of long returns today, and it was his own superb running, a couple of cuts and a hurdle that broke him free.
Way on top of the stadium, a chance to watch Walker as he drifts into the right side. And watch the tackle he breaks right here. He's going to be trapped. It will look like he's going down. He simply refuses to lose his feet, gets away from the block or the tackle by Barber right there. He's in the middle of a convoy. He's got a half a dozen blockers. Now he's trying to stay with the blockers. Joe Rose right there, number 81 of them, finally got him out of bounds.
I think he almost had too many blockers. They got in his way. Franklin dragged down by Darrell Ray, number 28. That was a 78-yard kickoff return by Fulton Walker. And just as the Jets buy a little momentum, Walker comes right back to spin them.
Joe Gardy, instructions from the defensive coordinator: get the football, turnover time, tackle the football, force the interception. We got to have the football.
Now in the shadows of that closed end of Shea Stadium, Miami, 2nd and 10. Fred Steinfort has just kicked the field goal for New England, and New England pulls to within 21-16 of San Diego. Marino. Tony Nathan near a first down before Bob Crable just before the gun. So the Bills, young Kay Stevenson, the head coach of Buffalo, he's done very quietly a terrific job in his initial year replacing Chuck Knox. Marino, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 226 yards passing, 3rd and 1 at the Jets 8-yard line. See Roy Foster
calling timeout. Not happy with the call or with the defense or the personnel. He said, we'll take the timeout rather than make a mistake here.
He doesn't miss much, does he?
No, he doesn't.
The Don of Miami, Grandpa Schuler, son David, assistant coach, presenting him with his first grandchild just a week ago. Still a delay here. Miami ready to move from the Jet 8-yard line on 3rd down and 1. You didn't tell us about Don Shula. He was kidding you about a sucker play yesterday at practice. He said, Merlin, want us to run the sucker play?
Well, they loved to run that play on me when we used to play Baltimore head-to-head, and they would pull the guard, and I would follow the guard. They'd run the back naked in there. They did love that play.
Richard Todd benched here in the second half. 3rd and 1. Airborne, Tony Nathan for the first down at the 6-yard line. Now the Jets have been stopping Franklin all day, so the call went to Nathan, and it's 1st and goal Miami.
Don Shula's got John Sandusky, offensive line coach on the sideline, has been with him for so many years. He used to design those plays for me, and then I'd yell at him on the sideline. There he is with his back to us. They'd run the play and usually make it go for a few yards. They'd run it once a game just to keep me honest. And then I'd yell at him on the sideline, let him know I appreciated him.
Not many times you were suckered. In fact, it's a compliment. They knew that you could read it so well that you'd go for the obvious, and they tried to run it in behind you. Franklin, nothing but green jerseys for Andre Franklin. Oh, he's just been held almost to nothing today, Andre Franklin. 10 carries, 6 yards.
The numbers against the Jet defense are impressive for Miami today, but the Jets defense has played with a great deal of emotion. They have been swarming, and they have been hitting on the field. I think certainly a case of Miami doing a lot of things well rather than a poor Jet defense.
Steelers with a field goal, lead 37-17. Apparently the Browns will continue to go empty away from Three River Stadium. Marino, he threw that one into the first row. Ken Schroy was the cover. It appeared that the receiver stumbled Bruce Hardy leaving the line of scrimmage.
Marino getting into what appears to be a bad habit of throwing in a retreating mode. And I think, I'm sure that Shula and the offensive coordinators, offensive team will get together with him and say, wait a minute, we want you to stand in there and not be dropping back as you're throwing that football. Hard to throw accurately when you're leaning back or taking your momentum away from the football, although he's been able to do that a couple of times today.
See, Roy Foster, 61, but he actually is an eligible receiver. He's playing the right end position. And for blocking, obviously. Inside handoff. Woody Bennett. And they say he did not get in. He stopped just shy of the goal line. Lance Bell made the saving tackle. Good ball. A little trap inside.
I'm sure that the defense was expecting a pass or a big play outside. Miami going right up the gut, able to get good yardage. I think the defense was stunning to the outside. Flecko and Gastineau, you see the shoulder down, ball down just shy of the goal line.
And on 4th and goal, Shula obviously with the lead, 30-14, will go for it. And the Jets stop them. Blinka and Troy with a solid hit on Tony Nathan.
Shula had been 4 for 4, going for it on 4th down. He did not make it. Watch the surge by the Jets defense as they break it up and stop him just short of the goal line.
So the Jets, trailing 30-14, give their fans hope with 11 minutes left. Jets stopping Miami on the 1-foot line on 4th down.
take over inside their 1. With the 2 points as Ryan fumbled the snap from center. So often a play that plagues the new quarterback in the exchange from center, and now Miami gets 2 instead of 7 and will get the ball back. It's 32-14.
Walton's got to be shaking his head. Ryan, looking back, wanted to hand off to Crutchfield, simply couldn't keep his hands on that football. It dropped away right there, and you're absolutely right, just did not stay in long enough under the center. And again, when you haven't taken a single snap in a game during the season, you have to expect some of that kind of problem.
Now the Jets, after an outstanding defensive stand, 4th and goal on the 1-foot line, they get the ball back, and then just as quickly all that emotion is lost as the safety, and they have to give up the ball. And it's been a long afternoon for 47-year-old Joe Walton, and that young man, the youngest on the Miami team, 21-year-old Mike Charles. It looks as if the Dolphins not only have a good pick in Marino, but their second-round choice, Charles, has played well.
You got to wonder, as well as they've done with a 4-3 defense today, will they come back to a 4-3 next week?
Well, meanwhile, we've got an upset brewing at New England as the Patriots, who have trailed the entire game and is by as much as 21-10, have gone ahead. Mark Van Egan, a 1-yard run with 10 minutes left in the game. Patriots 23, Chargers 21, and St. Louis has scored on a Randy Love run to make it 34-20 against Tampa Bay. That's with just a minute left at Tampa Bay, so it appears the Buccaneers will be without a win. Ramsey's punt is short at the 40-yard line, and Kozlowski is tackled immediately. So number 40, Kozlowski at the 40, and the Dolphins have the ball.
Dick, certainly Joe Walton and the Jets are having trouble beating the Miami Dolphins, but they're not the only trouble. That's the only team that has trouble beating Shula and these Miami Dolphins. And just a question for our fans, and well, there it is right there. How many teams have never lost? How many teams the Miami Dolphins have never lost to? Now look at that list. Amazing. And there was another team on that list until just earlier in the year. New Orleans won their first game against Miami just earlier this season. You wouldn't believe that there would be that many teams in the league that have never defeated the Miami Dolphins.
First down, Dolphins. They lead 32-10. Ball at their 40. Marino arms just long enough to get that handoff to Tony Nathan, and it's a loss of a yard or 2. Mark Gastineau made the tackle. An update now, NFL 83.
Thank you, Dick Enberg. You just mentioned the score a moment ago. Here's how it happened. James Brooks for the Chargers fumbled. Rick Sanford for the Patriots picked it up, ran it out of there. It set up a Mark Van Egan touchdown. The Patriots lead. They could be tied with the Jets for last. Back to you.
All right, Len. Meanwhile, for first place, Buffalo leading 24-7 at Baltimore at the half. The winner here stays in the race. The loser drops 2 full games behind either Buffalo or Baltimore. Quick hitter out to the 42-yard line. Lance Bell drags down Franklin.
Dick, we showed the stat on the teams that have never beaten Miami, and they have beaten every team in the NFL. Now, the Jets have an interesting stat, teams that they have never beaten. If you look down that list, you'll see 2 teams that they have yet to play this season, Pittsburgh and San Francisco. So not only is that a stat that they would like to see change, but 2 of those teams on this year's schedule yet to be played by these Jets.
We'll be seeing those games here on NBC, and of course, the Jets, should they lose today, 3-4, and they've got some tough teams ahead. David Overstreet down at the 42, no gain. Mel with a tackle. Clock continues to run. 9:20 left, and Miami will have to give up the ball. Speaking of San Francisco, Ray Wersching has just kicked his 6th field goal. That's 1 short of Jim Bakken's all-time NFL single-game record. Wersching makes it 25-13. San Francisco with 2.5 minutes left in the game at New Orleans.
They might as well pull out the stops and go for a block here. They got one of Roby's kicks early. Let's see if they're going again. They are.
Oh, does he
11-yard line. Boy, that ball just rockets off the foot of Roby. Eddie Hill made the tackle, 55-yard punt, a 9-yard return. Miami in command, 32-14 with 8 minutes 40 seconds left. Long, hard afternoon of work. There's Marty Lyons with Flecko, and you look at that scoreboard, and it's depressing news. Gastineau and Neal, the other half of the Jets' front four. In case you joined us late, Richard Todd's interceptions, 4 of those in the first half, really turned the game around. St. Louis has beaten Tampa Bay 34-27, so Tampa Bay 0-7, St. Louis 2-5. Ryan down the middle does Lamb Jones. Incomplete at the 30. And as you pointed out earlier, Merlin Olsen, that's the pass that Jones has just not been able to pull in very often. Over the middle.
He is not big and strong, the sprinter's build, and I don't blame him for not wanting to go in there. It takes a special kind of temperament for the receivers to go down and slide inside and go up for that football knowing that they're going to be blasted. I don't blame a man for not doing it, but it certainly takes that to be effective as a wide receiver.
32-14. I guess you said that about as kindly as you can. Bruce Harper. And jitterbugging along the sidelines, and the music finally stops as Paul Langford, number 44. We talked about outstanding track and field athletes. Langford was a top-notch 400-meter hurdle man at Penn State. He's 6'1", 182, picked in the 3rd round last year by the Dolphins.
Dolphins have now gone back to a 3-man line. Kozlowski, as we said, their emergency linebacker, in there calling defenses and playing in the linebacker position.
But not worried so much about the run here. That gives them an extra man to cover the pass, and it figures that's what the Jets will do. Ryan, good numbers, 7 for 9. At the 31-yard line, Brzezinski with a tackle. Short of the first down by about a yard.
Give him a chance to take a little bow here as he dips in and catches one on the inside. Kim Bocamper had gone back to, had started in from his defensive end position and dropped back into a linebacking position on that play. Lamb Jones certainly showing us on that play. He must have been listening. Hey, I can go in there and catch the ball. He did.
2nd down and 1. Ryan, his receiver, covered initially, and then he can't quite find Harper. Maybe the Kozlowski had a tip on the play, forcing that one incomplete. 7:41 left here in New York. Now let's go to NFL 83.
Well, Dick, Richard Todd and Jets fans can take heart. They've been done one better by Brian Sipe. This is interception number 6 against Sipe. He beats out Richard Todd's 5 for tops of the day in that negative category. Well, let's go back to Dick Enberg.
All right, Len, it makes you wonder if Sam Bertigliano, or why he hasn't gone to Paul McDonald.
Well, it certainly does. And we saw Sipe last week and saw some of the great passes he threw against the Jets as they came out on top, 10-7. Certainly a frustrating business being a quarterback. We've got a timeout on the field, Dick.
Jets at full time. And that gives us a chance to remind you that coming up next Saturday, NBC Sports World, we hope you'll join us, the Las Vegas 200, Johnny Rutherford and Freddie, Michigan 500 winner John Paul Jr., just a few of the circuit's top drivers take the green flag to the famous trip in Las Vegas. And from Tokyo, the world of sumo. We'll have the Japan Grand Sumo Tournament next Saturday, 4 Eastern Standard Time on NBC Sports World. First camera tonight at 7 o'clock. They've got a couple of very interesting features. NBC News, they have one on one of our favorite reds of Bordeaux, Margaux wine. Been in that little town in France, and also Frisbee. People who are into that Frisbee throwing, that's become a major sport. They have quite a story on that. That's at 7 o'clock tonight here on NBC.
I think Richard Todd would like to have been throwing Frisbees instead of footballs today. Certainly a non-productive day for that young man, and a frustrating day for this man, Joe Walton. For Don Shula, kind of day he would love to have every Sunday. Things have gone well.
This is how the standings looked prior to today's play. Baltimore losing to Buffalo 24-7 at the half. Now, if Miami should win, they'll stay within a game of the lead. The loser, as we pointed out several times, dropped 2 games back. And not just being 2 games out of first place, you hate to get too many teams in front of you. You got to leapfrog over too many to get to first place.
Well, that's 2 games in division, 2 losses in division, too.
Durking falling forward across the 35 for the first down. Of course, Miami will give the Jets all the short yardage they want and just let the clock go. Halfway through this fourth quarter, 7.5 minutes left. That's the score as Buffalo and Baltimore open the third quarter. Of course, they start 1 hour behind this game. San Francisco, that was a close game at one time. 32-13, Wendell Tyler, your former teammate of the Rams, 34-yard run. He's back and healthy, and with 1:28 left, it appears the 49ers have their 5th win.
In fact, much before it was expected, too. They expected him to be out 6 weeks.
Ryan going long, and Gerald Small has his second interception. So 5 interceptions by the 2 Miami cornerbacks, Judson with 3 and Small with 2.
Well, Len Berman indicated that Seif and Cleveland had an edge with 6. The Jets come right back and even it up.
Well, it's not quite enough arm by Ryan, and that was Todd's problem in the first half.
Well, and it's a frustrating situation. The Miami defense can afford to play deep. They'll give you the completion underneath. They're all back there 15, 20 yards to start out with. Gerald Small made it look easy.
Wesley Walker has made more tackles today than he's caught passes. That's not a good statistic. Because 3 of those interceptions came with Walker deep, and he had to see someone grab it and then make the tackle.
And people beginning to bail out here as Marino gets another chance to put some statistics together offensively.
Meanwhile, Tony Collins has scored for New England, and it appears the Patriots are going to knock off San Diego. It's 30-21 with just 2:23 left up at Foxborough. That'd be a big win for New England, pulling them 3-4 and knocking San Diego down to 3-4.
And how many of the experts were willing to bank on these 2 teams, the Jets and San Diego, at the beginning of the year? Certainly we expected them to perform much better than they have.
And after 7 games, for the 2 of them to have losing records. 6:15 left in the fourth quarter. Dan Marino handing off to Overstreet. He's dragged down nicely by Gastineau after Klecko slowed him down. Well, we have lots of scores and highlights. Let's catch this latest development, NFL 83.
All right, Dick, you just mentioned it. Here's the Tony Collins touchdown. Remember opening day, Jets in San Diego? Was it a preview of the AFC Championship game? They are both now 3-4 if the scores hold up. All the scores and highlights after the game. Back to you, Dick.
All right, Lance, so stay tuned. All the finals for you right at the conclusion of this game. We'll go to NFL 83 headquarters. Pat Ryan looks on as Dan Marino sets his line at the Miami 20, 3rd down and 12. Overstreet picking his way for short yardage. You know, you're looking back at some old notes, Merlin. Remember the Orange Bowl game we did? I think it was 79-80 with Oklahoma, Nebraska. The starting Oklahoma backfield in that game had David Overstreet, Billy Sims, and Kenny King were the running backs behind Ronnie Lott. Del Rey of the Jets was a safety man. But what a great team that was. Roberts was an All-American guard. Victor Hicks
Greg Roberts, yes, Victor Hicks played tight end out in L.A. for a while.
Boys.
You bet. They have put a few people into the NFL from Oklahoma.
Roby, but he's got the whole field to kick to. See if he can really root one out of there. He's fun to watch.
Ooh. That was almost to the top of the stadium.
That's the infield fly rule at the 30-yard line. He really hit a pop fly, 47 yards, and no way you're going to return that one.
I don't want to be down there waiting for that thing to come down either, Dick.
And we watched yesterday, even the Miami players had trouble fielding his kicks because they do some crazy things. Now here, hardly crazy when you talk about $360,000 involved. Nicholas Watson, Palmer, and Player. They're going to play 6 holes. They're worth $10,000, and the next 6, $20,000. Final 6, $30,000. If players tie on a hole, which should happen several times, then the money goes to the next hole. That's going to be the 26th and 27th Thanksgiving weekend here on NBC. Well, that sounds like something a Don Ohlmeyer would think of. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
This is South Florida 7, WSBN, Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
Now Scott Durking takes it out to the 36-yard line. Dick Enberg, Merlin Olsen, Shea Stadium in New York, almost half empty at this moment as fans have gone home, acknowledging the fact that it will be Miami that wins today. 32-14 Dolphins. Pat Ryan subbing for Richard Todd, the Harper. He's to the 45-yard line. Put yourself, Merlin, in Coach Joe Walton's shoes tomorrow. Tomorrow's got to be the toughest day in sport if you're a football coach that is lost on Sunday. As Ryan without a huddle, almost intercepted. Walker broke up the interception. That was headed right to a Dolphin when Walker got a kill on it.
If Dick, I can almost get on that sideline. I've been in losing games like this, and I've been with teams that were expected to win and could not win. One of the things they have to do, and it's probably the toughest thing, is to put this game behind them. They can't go back and replay it. They'll look at the film, they'll see their mistakes, they'll see that they were not as bad today as the score would indicate. They'll see some good things in the game, but the most important thing is that they've got to put it behind them, just as Richard Todd has to put those interceptions behind him.
Ryan to Durking. And he has another first down to the Miami 44, but the short yardage costs you time. They're the policemen we saw at the start of the game. And one thing we must say, there were a lot of ballyhooing about whether or not the fans would really be disruptive and angry about the Jets move to New Jersey. It's been quite the opposite. There's hardly a ripple of reaction to that. And in fact, the word we get from the Jets front office is that of thousands of calls, they've all been positive. There have only been like 50, 60 calls that have been negative about the move.
Well, I think if you ask the callers to comment on the quality of the Jets football today, there might be a lot of negative calls.
Harper to the 20-yard line on a good throw from Ryan, and with 3:13 and the clock running, Jets will hurry into position, a first down. Kozlowski made the tackle, winding down toward the 3-minute mark, fourth period. Miami leading 32-14. Ryan underneath to Durking. He's to the 8-yard line. Brzezinski with the stop. Another first down. First and goal.
These last 3 minutes will last a lifetime for all of the Jets. They just want to get this game over. Get out of here. But certainly for Don Shula and Arnsparger, some concern here. One of the things they don't want to see happen. They can't afford any more injuries to their defense. And they're anxiously watching the defenders on the field, make sure they're all standing after every play.
Ryan looking for a cosmetic score. And that one away from Lamb Jones, who was well covered as Gerald Small took the outside away from the Jets receiver. And Marino, we will leave this game today, Merlin, with one impression, and that is with a lot of stars around that name, Dan Marino. He looks as if he's got a great career ahead of him.
Well, I think he does, Dick, but as a young learning quarterback, he'll have some days that aren't nearly as sparkling as today. But he at least has demonstrated that he can go out and get the job done. He has a strong arm. He's not afraid to put himself at risk. He can run with the football, and he'll get better in terms of reading the defenses.
49ers have first place in the NFC West as they beat New Orleans 32-13. Now the Rams with a chance to tie if they can win later. Fake, reverse, and the throw. Almost an interception for Kozlowski. Better known in his youth as a volleyball player was Kozlowski. In fact, he had a scholarship to college as a volleyball player. Eventually went to Colorado, matriculated there in Boulder, and became an outstanding tailback.
Out of position on that play as a linebacker, was not fooled at all. Red Barber's moved to the outside, out there to cover him, and he went up and spiked that one to the ground.
2 2-12. Bruce Harper figures that he might be in the thick of this call. 3rd and goal at the 8. Watch what 42 does. He goes in motion. There he is. Complete at the 1-yard line. Short of a, and Harper looks as if he's hurt as Glenn Blackwood, one of those killer bees. 7 of the 11 defensive starters today for Miami. Their last name starting with bees. That's how that killer bee theme began. And they even have a name now when Miami's killer bees have a sack. They call it beeswax. W-H-A-C-K-S. Beeswax.
Well, Harper takes some wax on this play. He's up and he's moving. Good shot on the back. Glenn Blackwood, number 47. You'll see him soloed on the right side of your screen. Look at him driving in. His job to keep Harper out of the end zone. They're escorting him off the field. He's going to be all right. 4th and 1. You've got to go for it, but not until after the 2-minute warning.
Oh, remember that great 49er combination of quarterback John Brody and receiver Gene Washington? Yeah, here they come. Another one of those fantastic finishes. To see this day leave, well, I guess if you're a Jets player, you won't be so unhappy about it being over. Joe Robbie, he's got some business ahead. He can be happy today with a Miami impressive performance. He's still got to deal with that head man Don Shula. Job well defined to try to keep him in that Dolphin camp. 4th and goal for the Jets at the 2. Ryan doesn't make it. And that symbolizes the Jets' effort today.
Perhaps a fitting ending to an inept performance by the Jets offense in particular.
And a great defense by Miami.
Oh, yeah. Well, certainly, considering the problems that they have had defensively, amazing that they have been able to play so effectively. And one of the things that happens, Dick, when you get people hurt, you've got to have great individual performances from your people who are healthy. Miami has indeed gotten those kind of performances today. And one of the things that you hear Jets talking about, it absolutely mystifies them and mystifies us watching from up here. The lack of emotion, the lack of intensity, and there's obvious quality on that Jets bench. There's obvious quality on the field. They have not been able to get performance, and you can only talk about potential for so long. After a while, it becomes a dirty word.
Joe Danello, 40-yard field goal. Buffalo has scored 27 unanswered points to lead midway through the 3rd quarter at Baltimore. And it's just Marino sitting on the ball. This is going to give us a chance while we have time here, Merlin. What do you think of this idea? That at the end of the game, you can, in this situation, the last 2 minutes, you can't just do the flop down, take it down, and let the clock run. That you must make a conscious effort to advance the ball. Now that was, he took the snap and moved ahead, but not to take the snap when the other team's out of timeout, just fall down, let the clock run. What do you think of that idea?
I would like to see that. I think it's wrong to allow a team just to sit on the football and wait out the end of a ball game. I think they should have to put it into play.
I agree. There might be, once a year a fumble that would be created that could turn a game around. But and this would be an honest attempt to take a snap and advance the ball, so that would not be a penalty. But if it were to be a change someday, you couldn't just take the snap and then fall backward and have your linemen surround you until someone touches you. I want to thank those who have helped us in the booth: Dan Reagan, John Glasgow, Jim McLaughlin, Ron Zipkowski, Don Farrell, Joe Costanza. Final seconds tick away on a beautiful weather day in New York and a most disappointing performance by the home team, while Miami will make it 4 in a row. The Dolphins beat the Jets 3 times last year. They only lost 4 times, and apparently the Miami stranglehold will continue this afternoon. New England has scored again, and they lead 37-21 the final seconds. So the Patriots are going to celebrate a big win over San Diego. Don Shula, the Don of Miami, and Joe Walton. They were teammates, cornerbacks. Walton, when he was a rookie, was a cornerback, then switched to his position tight end. Shula was in his last year as the other cornerback with the Redskins in 1957. Small world of football. Dan Marino, welcome to the National Football League. All-American at Pittsburgh. He certainly showed his mettle today.
Had to to wait a full week for his first victory. Played well enough last week in the eyes of his coaches to have won on that one, but able to walk off with his head high, and here comes some absolutely dejected people. That man in particular, Richard Todd, threw the ball with great regularity to the men in the white shirts today and paid grievously for that action.
Biggest play probably was Kim Beaucamper on that deflection by Betters that went to Beaucamper. That turned the game around. It was 7-all at the time in the second quarter, and Beaucamper got that gift touchdown to make it 13-7. Then Marino took the Dolphins downfield and scored again on the 24-yard pass to Joe Rose just before the intermission to make it 20-7. It was all Miami from that point on.
Now, we talked about the problems that Miami had, in particular linebacking problems, the way they were able to make adjustments and overcome that. Certainly a feather in their caps. The fact that they proved today they could play a four-man line and play it effectively. Very impressive. Something that you're going to have to reckon with when you line up to play this team later on.
The Jets, you hear the fans say, well, there's plenty of time. It's a long season. They'll get it together. You can't keep borrowing weeks after weeks. They're 3-4, and we're approaching the halfway mark next week of this season. Well,